This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares has been critical of new tariffs imposed on Chinese-made vehicles, calling them, quote, a trap and a defensive strategy. In order to compete, he has turned to aggressive cost-cutting strategies and pressuring governments to step up. We've been told he's told suppliers to cut costs up to 30%, and now reports say Stellantis could stop production in the UK or possibly even pull out of the region altogether if the government doesn't do more to boost demand for EVs so it can more easily comply with new regulations. Those regs say 22% of all new cars sold this year have to be EVs, or automakers could face fines up to 15,000 euros for every vehicle they sell that doesn't comply with the rules. However, data shows that EVs only made up just over 16% of sales in the region through May of this year. So, Stellantis could mess with its UK production in order to hit the 22%. EV battery startup Our Next Energy, or ONE, is getting some much-needed help. While the company showed early promise, last year it replaced its CEO, cut headcount, stopped production lines, and said it only had enough money to last until the end of this year. But Automotive News reports that Foxconn is investing in taking a partial stake in ONE, which it will use to help scale up production. However, ONE no longer plans to make batteries for electric vehicles. As part of last year's restructuring, it announced a switch to stationary storage devices with LFP batteries and said it hopes to make 20 gigawatt hours of cells by 2027. Automakers say that high-speed automatic emergency braking isn't feasible with current technology. So the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents most automakers in the U.S., sent a letter to NHTSA urging it to back off speed and nighttime rules. NHTSA is mandating AEB in all new light cars and trucks by 2029. The vehicles have to be able to automatically stop to avoid a crash with another car up to 62 miles an hour and automatically apply the brakes up to 90 miles per hour when a crash with another vehicle is imminent. They also have to detect pedestrians at speeds up to 45 miles an hour, and the systems must work at nighttime. NHTSA says the rules will prevent 360 deaths and 24,000 injuries a year, but that will only be if the systems work. Japanese consumers are highly nationalistic, and BYD is learning that the hard way. It only sold 2,200 EVs in Japan last year, and this year is looking even worse. Sales were down 26% in April and 28% in May compared to last year. But BYD is in it for the long haul, and it just introduced its third model in the country, the Seal. It has an 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack and a price tag of only $33,000. And it's opening up more dealerships. It wants to have 90 dealerships in Japan by the end of this year and 100 by next year, which is up from 55 today. Is autonomous technology finally going to take off? The chairman of XPeng thinks so. He predicts that 2025 will be the ChatGPT moment for autonomous driving. Gasgoo reports he rode in Waymo's AV in San Francisco and tested Tesla's FSD version 12 in Silicon Valley, and said he admired the rapid progress Tesla is making. Car dealers are warning that the Cyberattack on CDK's dealer management system could impact their finances. Dealer groups including Sonic, Penske, Group 1, AutoNation, Lithia Motors, and Asbury Automotive all filed disclosures with the Securities and Exchange Commission warning of a potential material impact to their finances because of that attack. All of the groups, with the exception of Penske, have seen their stock prices drop since the attack. Last week, CDK was hit with a cyber attack that took down its dealer management system, which is used by 15,000 dealers across the U.S. The system generates sales leads, handles trade-ins, car loans, vehicle registrations, orders service parts, and schedules service appointments. CDK says it expects the service to be restored in the coming days. And we're learning more about the group that pulled off the attack. Bloomberg reports it's called BlackSuit and is demanding tens of millions of dollars from CDK, which the company plans to pay. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recently warned that BlackSuit should be closely watched as a threat because of the organization's association with other extortion groups.
Michigan is leading the charge in mobility and innovation, and I can't think of a better state to be in.
Volkswagen is making some modifications to the 2025 model year Jetta. You'll notice some minor changes to the front and rear styling and to the interior as well, including a new 3-bar dash design with 8-inch standard displays and more powerful wireless charging with built-in cooling. The powertrain lineup remains the same for 2025. The base engine is a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder that makes 158 horsepower and is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The manual is only available on the GLI now, which comes with a 258 horsepower 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, or it can be paired with a 7-speed auto. When asked during a presentation for the new Jetta why it didn't do more to update the model, Volkswagen said it's all about keeping it affordable because that's what customers seem to want, and it's working. So far this year, VW has sold more than 17,000 Jettas, which is up 121%. To keep that momentum, it cut the starting price of the base automatic by $250 to just under $22,000. Production kicks off soon, and 2025 Jettas will go on sale at the end of the third quarter. Even though the exterior styling barely changed, the second generation of the Rivian R1S and R1T have significant changes under the skin that will slash manufacturing costs. By dropping its domain electronic architecture and going with a zonal layout, Rivian got rid of 60% of the ECUs and 1.6 miles of copper wiring, and now writes 85% of the software for its vehicles in-house. It also added a heat pump for greater efficiency. The battery pack was redesigned using high-pressure castings to eliminate parts and welds, and that cut the weight of the pack by 155 pounds or 70 kilograms. At its factory in Normal, Illinois, it removed 100 processes to make the batteries, eliminated 500 pieces in the pickups and SUV's body, and got rid of 52 pieces of equipment in the body shop. Rivian says it cut the cost of materials 35% for those vehicles and the electric vans that it makes. While the company will likely continue to lose money in the short term, these changes are going to greatly reduce its losses. But not all of the changes were made to cut costs. Rivian added air springs and redesigned the suspension to significantly improve the ride. It added different wheel and tire packages for more range, higher performance, or all-around driving, depending on what the customer wants. In fact, Rivian made so many changes that we'll have to report on more of them in tomorrow's show. Automakers believe they can generate big bucks in the future from collecting consumer data and offering owners features based on their preferences. But according to a new survey from insurance savings app Jerry, consumers aren't on board with giving up their data. It polled 1,300 adults, and 96% said they want to own any and all data generated by their vehicle. 80% said they were uncomfortable or extremely uncomfortable if automakers shared that data with law enforcement without their knowledge, and the same amount said they would be uncomfortable or extremely uncomfortable if vehicle data is used for insurance rates. 8 in 10 drivers also said they'd be less likely to use a vehicle for sensitive or private trips if they knew the location data was being shared. But we would like to point out that anyone who uses a smartphone has pretty much already given up their location anyway. As automakers move to software-defined vehicles, They're finding they can significantly slash the time it takes to calibrate the steering, braking, traction, and chassis dynamics. ZF, which is a sponsor of the show, has developed a tool called Cubics, which allows an engineer to control all of those features with a laptop. And we've got Kyle Williams from ZF coming on Autoline After Hours this Thursday to explain how it all works. And we invite you to join the action live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. But that's a wrap for this show, and thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. MEDC, where Michigan businesses are powering the future of mobility. Tejan Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. And by ZF.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Tejan Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CAN-FD technology and Raspberry Pi compute module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.
Trusting tires designed for the long haul. Because you'll always go the distance. For friends. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Alenza tires with an 80,000-mile limited warranty.